Hey guys, Granny Pepper here. Squirrel! Granny Pepper here. Today we're going to be going over traditional military-based chest rigs. We're going to be going over the difference between modern micro rigs and, well, you know, these, I just said it. And then after that, we're going to be going over the molle-based systems and the pre-sewn systems that you can get, and which one you may decide is better for you, because there's obviously advantages to either one. That's it. All right, so the first chest rig we're going to be going over today is where it all started, the Chi-Com chest rig. This one specifically is the Type 56. The Chi-Coms basically came out between 1950 to 1960s. They were used throughout wars like the Vietnam War, the Soviet-Afghan War, lots of wars. I'm not going to go over all that, but one thing you're going to notice is that it's definitely a bit more outdated. It was like the first chest rig ever, so it's kind of set to be a certain way. There's not really much room for modifications, but what people have done online is that you can actually de-sew these pouches on each side and add molle to it to essentially make it a lot more modular. One of the other modifications you could do is what I've done here, and is basically add Velcro to it to essentially make this a lot faster to open up the pouch, as opposed to just using the wooden buckles as you see here, which is a lot more cumbersome to get out because you have to actually like take it out of this like little loop, and it just takes a lot longer to do. Another modification that you can do is what they used to do during the Soviet-Afghan War, and I'm pretty sure during the Vietnam War, the Viet Cong did this as well, is that you would soak this in hot water and force an extra AK mag into each pouch to force this to be able to hold 6 mags instead of only 3 as originally intended. That's pretty much it. And now next we're going to move on to the predecessor, which is next we got here is the Pattern 83 chest rig. It was used by the SADF, South African Defense Force. And what you're going to notice here is, like I said, this is a predecessor to the Chi-Com chest rig. I'm not too sure how accurate that is, but I'm very sure it is, because you're going to see a lot of the similarities to the Chi-Com, because it basically takes all the modifications of the Chi-Com chest rig and already implements it into the Pattern 83. Like, for example, like how I said you can modify it to hold 6 mags. This already is able to hold 6 mags into it. You can see. It also has a divider as well in each pouch. And it already has a generous amount of Velcro that's already sewn into the chest rig. But like the Chi-Com, it is also pretty archaic. It already has pre-sewn pouches. Like, what you see is what you get. There's not really any room for modification. But what you can do is you can de-sew these pouches, like some people have done online, and add molle to this as well. So this could also be a pretty modular system. Maybe not completely modular, but it'd be a lot more modular on the sides at least. So you could add your own pouches of whatever you need. But I think, like, to start off with, this is a pretty good system. Like, you got enough space with these pouches. Like, you can fit an IFAK in here. These were supposed to be used for grenades, but you can find a secondary purpose for these. Unless you have grenades. I don't know. Maybe you do. But another cool thing, another fun fact is that you could actually fit a tall boy in one of these too. That's pretty cool. You could fit 3 tall boys in this. Like, you can fit 3-4 locos in this thing. Next, we got the TAPS chest rig. This stands for Tactical Assault Panel System. This is the one that I got while I was in the Marine Corps. The one I said that SIF didn't ask for me. But yeah, I'd never had to return this, so just ended up keeping it. Really cool piece of kit. Essentially all it is like I mentioned, we're gonna talk about molle-based chest rigs, and this is the first one. Under all this is just one big molle panel. We'll show a picture on screen so you guys can see what it looks like without all the pouches added onto it. But yeah, you can do a lot with this. You can add a IFAK on it. You could add speed mags like the ones I've added here. You can even add a little dump pouch right here, or basically a dangler dump pouch. Makes it really convenient to just drop mags in, like at your near your wiener area. But yeah, another modification I did, as instead of having the Velcro flaps on it, I basically tucked in the Velcro flaps and added in a bungee system. So now instead of like just being in a flap, you can just have it in a bungee system, and it honestly makes it a little bit easier to get out. But yeah, so there's that. And aside from this molle-based chest rig, we also have the Ranger X system, which stands for the Ranger Assault Carry Kit. These were used throughout the GWAT era by, Rangers, and it's the same concept. It's a molle-based chest rig. A lot of modularity with it. You don't have to add these pouches. These are just the pouches that came in conjunction with the rack system, but you can add whatever pouch you want on here, or you can even add modernized pouches. The only reason I went with these pouches is just because I wanted to do a replication of the original, but that kind of gets expensive, and it's more for collectors purposes. And as you can see, that these chest rigs are a lot different from your more modernized micro chest rigs, are definitely more downscaled as opposed to traditional chest rigs. I would argue that, like, if you want a lot more sustainment, traditional chest rigs are definitely gonna be your go-to. Not that there's anything wrong with micro chest rigs, but they definitely have their limitations in terms of carry capacity. But yeah, just with whatever you decide to go with, just know that, just think about what your needs are. What do you want it for? Don't just get the first rig that you see on the market. Really think about what you want. Do you want a more scaled down, more minimalistic rig, or do you want more of an upscaled, built for sustainment chest rig? All right, so to basically wrap it all up, we went over the old school and a little bit of the new school, and essentially, like, just decide what you're gonna end up getting, whether it be fixed base systems, and coming to the realization that what you see is what you're going to get, and that there's not much you can do in terms of modification as opposed to molle-based chest rigs like the ones I have here. Or, if you still want the twink rig, you could also just get a micro rig. I meant to say micro rig. But, just at the end of the day, it's what you want. Decide, are you going to be serious with this? Because if you are going to be serious with this, you really do have to take into consideration like what those limitations are. But if you just like the way it looks and you're just going to be using it for, airsoft, or even like cosplay purposes, if you want to cosplay as a rice farmer in the Vietnam era, you could get the Chicom. Or if you want to cosplay as a South African defense guy during the Cold War era, you have your options there too. But just take into consideration, what do you need it for? What are you willing to spend? Because the price varies on all of these, obviously, or you can just decide to be like me and buy all of them because, you got the tisms like I do. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know what people usually say. Like and subscribe, I think.